Morning, everyone. Meg is away, so I took over some of the duties, and really it's always a group effort up here these days, and nobody does it alone in the music team, that's for sure. We're going to celebrate some male voices today. We're going to be a little different, and we're going to open up with Peter doing a song for us.
Good morning. I'm going to do a song written by an old friend of mine named Don Rhodes. It's called The Power of Love. And please feel free to echo what the choir does and join me in singing The Power of Love.
Blessed are you when you don't have much to say.
thinking of. Listen to you. The salt of the earth, the time it is now. And you've got things to do with your life, but you just don't know how. And let your light shine from the hill when you're connected to the light from above. You can do it all when you live in the power of love. You know that you can do it all when you live in the power of love. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the pure at heart, they shall see God. They shall see God. And blessed are the ones who sacrifice. And blessed are the ones who serve. Blessed are you when you live in the power of love. Consider those birds in the air. Now see how they fly. Consider those lilies in the field. They don't even try. And in the middle of the riddle of good and bad, just give your heart to the dove. Just like a bird or a flower, you can live in the power of love. You know that you can have it all when you live in the power of love. Hey, now blessed are you when you live in the power of love. Just like a bird or a flower, you can live right in the power of love. Blessed are you when you live in the power of love. You can have it all.
Keith. Now stand as you are able, and we'll sing our opening song, Surely the Presence.
Let us pray. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Let us breathe in the truth of who we are, the very essence of love, the very essence of the divine made real. And today we sit with open yet heavy hearts as we reflect on this week and of the tragedy in New Zealand. With open hearts, we connect with those who've lost their lives, who've lost their loved ones. We connect with our Muslim brothers and sisters who around the world stand in fear because others fear them because they do not understand. So in this moment, I want to invite you into a practice with me. There's a Buddhist practice called Tonglen. And we're going to just do a short, modified version of it. This is a practice in which we breathe in the suffering, the pain, the tension, and we breathe out love. Because love is who we are, because we are from God and we are God. So we breathe in the fear and misunderstanding, and we breathe out love. We breathe in the pain of loss. We breathe out love. We breathe in the hate and discrimination, and we breathe out love. We breathe in the misunderstanding. We breathe out love. We breathe out love. We become the face, the voice, the stand, the strength of love. As together we remind ourselves in this world, the only way we will see peace is if we continue to speak love, live love, and be love. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen and amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning. I am Reverend Ogun Holler, minister here. If you've not had a chance to meet yet, I'm thrilled to be not just your senior minister servant here, but one of your newest American citizens. Thank you very much. If you weren't aware of the whole story, this is the second time took. The first time, I went through the whole, process, interview, all of that, brushed up on my U.S. civics and history and all that, and I did the interview, and it was awesome, and they're like, we're going to have you sworn in the ceremony 2 days from now. I was like, oh, great. So, we pack up, we go down to them sitting in I always say this word, Faneuil, still working on my New England pronunciations, Faneuil Hall, downtown. We're sitting there, and people are coming in. There's about 375 of us about to be sworn in. And the woman who's doing the ceremony, she says, when you get sworn in today, you'll be given a packet. And in the packet is a passport application. And we advise you to get this filled out quickly because today you'll be turning in your green card. And if you leave the country before you get your passport, we're not going to let you back in. And my thought was, oh my God, I got to do a unity cruise tomorrow. What do I do? What do I do? So I run up to the guy and I said, here's my situation. And he says, well, you've got two choices. When you get sworn in today, you take that passport application, you run as fast as you can to the passport office, try to get an expedited passport, call your senator, get him behind you, and you might get this in time before you leave. He says, or if you want to be more relaxed and less stressed, I'll take that option. What's that option? I'll take that. He goes, don't get sworn in today. Travel on your green card like you've always done, and then we'll just give you a new day to get sworn in. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it. There was a tiny piece of me that wanted to see if I could get it done. That piece of us is like, I want to do it the hard way. For whatever reason, there's that piece of us like, I want to do it the hard way. But I was like, we're going to take it easy. So this past Wednesday, I joined almost 200 people from 64 different countries around the world, and we became U.S. citizens at the John F. Kennedy Library. It was beautiful. It was moving. And if you ever want to see the absolute cutest rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance delivered by a 6-year-old, go to my Facebook page, took a video. It will move you and it will make you laugh out loud. But I wanted to come share that experience with you, my fellow citizens. Thank you. As my girlfriend pointed out, I can no longer say you Americans. I'm wanting it now. And I'm thrilled to be also one with this community and with Mickey, who's going to facilitate for us today.
Thank you.
Mickey.
top of the morning to you, lads and lassies. That's all I got. I'm Italian. Thank you for coming today. You know I'm Mickey. If you don't know I'm Mickey, you know I'm Mickey now. I'll be facilitating for all of us today. First thing I want to do is say hi to the streamers. Hi, streamers. How are you? You can always catch a service on YouTube after the fact. And we also have it on SoundCloud and Spotify if you ever need to listen to a service again. Sometimes I like to get a little inspiration during the week. Or if you missed the service, it's always great to catch up. Who's here for the first time celebrating with us? We've got one. Keep your hand up. Welcome. Thank you for coming. You're getting a flower, and you're getting a packet that'll kind of explain us. There's also some information you can get in the back at our resource table during fellowship if you have any questions. All of us are here to answer any questions. As I always say, enjoy the next 6 hours. It's getting old. It's getting old. All right. What else do we have here? That flower will give you 10% off in the bookstore. Bookstore has some really cool stuff. If you get a chance, take a look at that. And we thank you for coming because you enrich our experience by having you here. So hope you can stay for fellowship. So now let's talk about Unity on the River. We are a center of celebration, transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Let's hold these truths in our heart as we say together our mission and vision statements. Mission statement together. Wait for me. That's why I'm the facilitator. I know you want to be self-service church someday. Ready? Take 2. Together. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And then our vision statement together. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. And now we'd like to do something completely different. Hi, Ogun.
Hi, Mickey. So today we're going to go off script a little bit. And for those of you who are not fans of change, just take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. As you may have gotten the notice, we are not going to do the vote that we scheduled after church today regarding the sale of our property. We sent out an email and posted it that what we're going to do is a visioning process instead, and we hope you can all stay for that. Tina, our board president, say hi, Tina. Tina is going to come up a little bit later and give you some details around that because we're making this a very sacred process, and there's some steps we're going to invite you into before we start, so you'll hear more about that in a little bit, and we hope you can stay for it. I believe that those of you who are here today and stay for that are those who were divinely appointed to be here today. We're not going to live stream the visioning process, and I know some of folks watching online may not be so happy with that, but we want to be clear because of the preparation and setup that we do for the visioning process. We're creating a sacred container here, and we want to keep the sacred container here, because a lot of the steps that you'll have to take to prepare to come into the process is going to happen out there before you walk back in. But Tina will tell you more about that as we go on. Don't worry, we won't make you get any tattoos or anything. It's going to be okay. It's going to be safe. But she was like disappointed. She's like, what? No. fellow inker over there, I see you. So what I want to do today, however, is I want to invite you into a conversation with me. And let me set up the conversation a little bit, and it's going to be more of you talking and more of me listening. In other words, you may not have realized this today, but you're giving most of the talk today. And if you're not a person who likes to stand in front of other people and talk, take another deep breath. You're going to be okay today. You're going to be okay today. So, in the last couple days, some of you may have noticed through our email and through online that I shared some information. In the last few weeks and months, as we have shared where we are financially with our relationship with Spirit on the River and how It impacts us in Unity on the River, and part of that led to the discussion of might it be time to consider the sale of the property. As always, when there's time of uncertainty and tension, or stuff comes up. So the board, Tina especially, bless her heart, Tina has just been so great through all this, has been the recipient of calls and emails from individuals currently in the community, or even those who are not currently active members of the community, who have not been happy, and more specifically, have not been happy with me and my leadership. So in an effort to try to clear up some of the information, and I use the word misinformation very consciously, that's out there that has led some people to be unhappy, in an effort to clear up some of that in the most efficient way. So rather than reply to people individually when they're bringing up the same topics, I thought maybe it's good to just write to the congregation en masse. Now, as you guys know, sometimes my sense of humor is very subjective. Thank you. Okay? Sometimes I come and I make a joke, half of you laugh, and half of you are like, no, but that's humor. So when people were emailing us, a phrase that came up a few times was, I've heard through the grapevine that. Okay, that's how a lot of the emails started. I've heard through the grapevine that, for example, now that you've moved an hour and a half away, you're not here at the church anymore to meet people's needs. So I thought, okay, well, let's clear up some of this. First of all, it's not an hour and a half. I live in Newton, Upper Falls, which is, on your average day, an hour. Sunday morning, when there's no traffic, it's 45 minutes. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point. The point is, in the note that I wrote, the stuff that I wrote, it was an effort to share information, not to defend myself because I didn't feel attacked, but simply to share information. The response varied. So there was the response of, hey, thank you for clearing that up. Thank you for sharing that information. Really appreciate what you're doing. Love your leadership. Someone actually wrote, I give you an A+ for that. That was awesome. And then, wait, don't clap yet. And then on the other extremes, some responses were like, how could he? How could he try to shame us like that? Need to fire him right away. So we've had these extremes of responses to sharing information, okay? And it's okay. There's no right or wrong way to respond here. It's just what it is. So I took that in and remembered something that I've shared with you a number of times from Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh says, when somebody says good things about you, they're partly right. When someone says bad things about you, they're partly right. So the question for me was, is there legitimacy to the people who aren't happy with me and what they perceive I'm doing, how I'm being? So I made some calls yesterday. Called a couple people who were brave and contacted me directly, whether they called me or they emailed me, and I called them back, and I listened, and I listened. And I realized, yeah, there may be some salient points that they have. And I was in action afterwards. This morning, for example, I came and I proffered an apology to the music team, because one of the things, after I spoke with Meg Rain yesterday, Meg's not here, she's visiting her daughter, and I can't tell you how much I love Meg. Meg knows how to do grounded, tough love. She knows how to stay grounded, centered, calm, and with love, tell you what it is, as it is. So I sat and I listened to Meg, and Meg told me some things, which led me to come speak to the band and the choir and the music team, and their response was, yeah, we got you. You know. So one other person I spoke to said, as when we are in relationship with our significant others, sometimes we just got to shut up and listen. We just got to shut up and listen to what they're saying. Because even if we think we're doing okay and we're doing well, and we inadvertently cause our partner pain and discomfort, whether we believe what we believe we're doing is legit or not, how they feel is legit. And we have to listen to that person. I also like to take the nonviolent communication approach. How many of you are familiar with nonviolent communication? Maybe taking some classes. Is Gina here today? Gina? No. So Gina Janess is a member here who often teaches nonviolent communication. In fact, at this point, it's also one of the requirements if anyone wants to serve on the board. Because nonviolent communication says we listen, and then we ask that person who's speaking to us, what is the need? How am I not meeting your need? How does your need being met look to you? And what can I do? And after that person then shares that, then we do the process which is called like negotiation. We find the middle ground. Because legitimately, we can change our behavior to meet the needs that are being asked of. Sometimes it's not within our power at the time to change our behavior to meet the needs, and sometimes there's the middle ground. And I like to work in the middle ground, honoring that how people feel is real, maybe how they got there needed further explanation, or maybe there's things that they're absolutely right about that I couldn't see for myself. Often we can't see for ourselves. If you don't believe me, I won't go into it, but the story of David in the Bible, David and Bathsheba, some of you are familiar with David and Bathsheba's story in the Bible, go read that. Because David is a great example of a person who didn't realize he was being the bad guy until somebody had to come point it out to him. So, after I spoke with this person on the phone yesterday, I realized, yeah, I need to do some listening. Not only do I need to do some listening, but the board needs to hear from you as well. So what we're going to spend the next few minutes doing, we're going to do two things today. This is just the first one. What I want to spend the next few minutes doing is opening up the floor to you so that I can listen. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you what's going well, what's not going well. And let's keep it specific to me, because this is where the complaints are really coming up from. This is those who are speaking to the board, it's being centered around me, which I'm totally okay with. And at the same time, I need to hear from you if your needs are not being met by me in some way, if I am disappointing you in some way, if my actions are causing you to not feel comfortable or safe in spiritual community here, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you now. I want to hear from you during the week. I want to hear from you on the phone. I want to hear from you on email. I want to hear from you, because only when I hear from you can I take a look at myself and go, didn't realize I was doing that. How can I do it differently? Everybody take a deep breath. Now, this is going to be uncomfortable for some of us. Some of us don't want to stand and speak in public. Some of us don't want to say something that you feel might hurt my feelings. Some of you don't want to say something that might be negative about the minister in public. So let's agree on this. Let's agree that this is a safe space here. Let's agree that there are no judgments here. Let us agree that when we speak, we know that regardless of what you say, you're coming from your heart and you're coming from love. As I said, Meg shared some tough love with me, and there was no point during that conversation that I didn't doubt it was from love and that she was loving me throughout the whole thing. So that's the default place that I'm going to be in my listening. I am not going to respond. I'm not going to, if you have questions, I'm not going to answer questions right now. We're recording this. I'll go back later, look at it. I'll respond then. I am going into a place of listening today. This might not be what you came here for, but this is what you're going to get. okay? But that's not all we're going to do today. So let's do this part. And I want us to be honest. I want us to be honest. Whether it's good, when I hear from the people who it's going good, not going so good. I'll shut up now. Nancy.
I would like to say that I really, really, really appreciate your transparency. It sets a different tone, and I think it allows us to move and grow, and I can certainly benefit by listening more. And I particularly appreciate your perspective of, as a person of color, as a new American, and your emphasis on other religions and other faiths. And as an aside, I feel like we should live our faith and honor all paths to God and open this as a center for other religions, other faiths, the Muslims, the Jewish people, to rent or with a possibility to buy.
Okay, thank you. And as a little aside. So I don't want to go back on what I just said when I responded, but there was one more thing I forgot to tell you, which was I need to apologize. So when I wrote the post that I put up, I used a metaphor that did not land well with some people. So the email that came in, or emails that came in with the grapevine, here's what's on the grapevine, I decided to respond sticking with the grapevine metaphor. And one of the things the phrase I used was, the grapevine's been busy. Here are some of the things that are through the grapevine that aren't wholly accurate, and I'm going to call them sour grapes. The things that people said, and I had a little cartoon image of grapes being sour. I apologize if that offended anyone. It was not my intention to do that. Like I said, my sense of humor sometimes does not land square with people, but I can hear that did not work well for everyone. And going forward, when I write, when I speak, I will be more mindful about metaphors and analogies that I use. I'm going to work harder towards that middle ground. So I did want to share that. Okay.
I'm going to ask for some love, because I'm going to need some love drawn towards me as I speak my truth. I, at one time, was a very active, vibrant part of this community. I showed up early and I stayed late, integrally a part of this community. And I'm not anymore. I'm on the fringe. I still do the prayer line because I'm committed to this community, and I always will be. But my experience of you, Ogun, is that when I've come to you with my heart open and to speak with you, you have dismissed things that I've said. You've given facts for why it's what I feel or think is not true. And it has felt like gaslighting to me. I am offended by that sour grape analogy because it feels like a form of gaslighting. I feel that there is not a safe spot to be able to disagree with you and still be a part of this community, still be actively enrolled and in a position of leadership, and be able to disagree with you and be heard and responded to, and to have my point of view considered. You know, I'm finding out, because I don't really triangulate much, that I'm not the only one that has experienced that with you. You know, when I was the director of adult education, and I was so enthusiastic, and I couldn't wait when you got here. I had all kinds of dreams and plans, and I would send you emails and never get a response. And I know, because I have 4 emails myself, you know, from different work and different requirements that I have, that if it's my job to check my emails in a timely manner, that I should be checking my emails and I should be getting back to people. Because when you don't get responded to, at least in my experience, when someone doesn't respond and doesn't respond and doesn't respond and doesn't respond, I don't think they care much. And they most certainly don't care about my opinion or my feelings or what I'm trying to do and accomplish here. You know, lately, I also want to say that I've heard people have said lies about people. We're not encouraged to go directly to that person and speak. I did speak to the person that I was told a lie about. I had someone say a lie about me, and thank goodness the person came to me. But we need that, like, that has to be modeled. That has to be modeled. And I really felt that that note that you sent out on conscious contact was not appropriate. It was a one-sided conversation instead of two. And it wasn't appropriate. Please do not refer to my community and people that care, that have a passion here, that might not agree with you, as sour grapes. That's not appropriate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I've been coming to the Spiritual Center for many years, and it's an important part of my life. It's a place when I come when, doesn't matter what happened during the week, when I leave here, I feel renewed. When I first heard the first time that you spoke here, I think it was when they were in the process of appointing a new minister. I was very touched by what you said. I bought the CD and I shared it with friends. And I said, this is possibly our new minister. One of the things, I was raised in a different religion. I tried, by going to other places, other religions, to find something that touched me inside. And I came here a couple of times. And the first time I came, I felt that, but I didn't trust it. So I kept coming. And within a short time, I felt a connection, not only to the people, but to the minister. And I used to say, and this is not a comparison for you, but I used to say to her quite often when I left, how do you know what's going on in my life? Because what she would be talking about would touch me. I've enjoyed many of the things that you've said. I guess I wish you were here more often, so I could get to know you better. And I know there may be good reasons why you're not. Obviously, you select excellent speakers to take your place or to help out. But I found myself coming here less and less. I still stream, but the feeling, the need to come here started to lessen, and I said, that's not right, because I still feel that connection to the people that I've met here. So I decided, it's funny that you're talking about this today, but I decided during the week that I had to get back here, and I had to start connecting again, not only with people, but with you. So I'm hoping that we can all find a way to work together so that I can get that wonderful feeling back to say, this is an important part of my life. It helps me get through tough times, and I've had some. And I always know I can look toward unity to help me get the strength I need to do whatever I need to do. But I do want to thank you. Like I said, I was very impressed with the first talk that you gave, and I've been impressed other weeks. But when I found myself not feeling the need to come here, I knew there was something wrong. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. I thought I saw someone over here. Was there someone over here? Okay.
Thank you, Ogun, for this opportunity. And I want to, I guess, reiterate, I don't know your name. I so agree with what you said. And I know, Ogun, that you have talked about that you are a part of us. It's not us and you, that you are part of us. And I love that. I agree that, and I care about you, I love you, I like you as a person, I like your sense of humor sometimes. I want more of you. I want more of you, and I agree that as much as I've appreciated some of the speakers who have come, I have to, I'm going to say this honestly, I sometimes feel a little bit when some speakers are here like I'm listening to a TED Talk, or like they're here to sell their book, their latest book. That's not everybody, but I sometimes feel that way. And what I am missing, and what I think a spiritual community needs, if we are a community, is we do need leadership. We need continuity. We need consistency, so that we do feel when we are here like we are all one and we are all together. And your absences, for whatever reason, and I'm not judging you for those, but I think it interferes with that feeling of community and continuity that I think is so important. And I don't know if that is part of why people aren't coming here any longer, or whatever the reasons are, but I just want more of us. I want more.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Can you use your mic up there? Yeah. I think that works. Okay. Here. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trapped back. I'd rather hide behind these, actually, than take this. How do I express this without, it's always difficult to speak and express something without potentially discounting someone else's feelings, which I don't want to do. In the pre-social media age, I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard an excellent story that involved a parent on a subway whose children were acting wildly inappropriate for people around. And it troubled one of the passengers to such a degree that they finally said something to the man who was clearly not controlling his children the way that this person felt that the children should be controlled. And he was kind of spaced out. And he said, I'm sorry. We just came back from the hospital and their mother just died. And I guess they just don't know how to handle it. So that is what provided the listener with what's called a paradigm shift, where we perceive that something is just somebody's being a certain way when actually something else is going on. So that's the pre-social media example. In the days of social media now, I feel as a musician particularly, that I not only have to be careful with what I write, but also the responsibility is shared. How do I receive what I'm seeing? Because I can, in my head, read something and attach all kinds of meanings, because this is like a bad neighborhood up here. So, I mean, I can go in a direction that is dark, and then I can kibitz with others, and it gets on this train. So I feel it's a shared responsibility. It's important for me to be careful what I write and give thought to that, but it's also important for me to just be careful how I read it. And sometimes someone will come up to me and say that they're feeling something about something that I didn't do on social media. In other words, somebody posted something and I didn't respond. Well, I didn't respond because I didn't see it. And I didn't see it because I was busy raising my son. And then I got on there, and I just missed it. But people are taking this to another direction and making conclusions in their head about how I must feel or not about something I didn't say or I didn't like, you know. So I don't want to discount anyone's feelings whatsoever with what I've just said. I just want to say that it's okay to just breathe and think about shared responsibility. That's all.
Thank you, Steve. We have Barbara over here.
For those of you that are here that are new, we don't do this every week.
I was gonna say that. Thanks, Mickey. Hang on a minute.
Come back.
I saw some other hands. If you had your hand up, hang on. If you had your hand up over here just now, can you put your hands up again? I just want to get a sense of numbers because I am being mindful of time, but I do want to be mindful of numbers as well. Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
First, I want to vote for your support. I feel that I have been fed more in this community than all of my Catholic life, really. And I am so grateful that I found this community and that you are up there talking with us on Sundays, and I really appreciate that. So I wonder if some of what we are feeling with you not being here all the time or as much as we want is based on some of our past religions of growing up in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church and the priests who lead the church are really dedicated to that community, and they're always there. So I wonder if a lot of us are coming from that background and are expecting more than maybe Ogun really signed up for. I think you've shared with us before that you have this time as part of your contract, and as much as we don't want to have you away, that's part of the agreement. So we have to live with that or change the agreement, right? The other thing that I'm not really sure how this fits in, but I feel compelled to say it, is we're talking about moving to a mission-centric church, and it seems like if we want to move in that direction, why are we shooting bullets at the minister when that's not the direction that we want? We don't want him to be like the priest, right? We want him to be part of our community, and we want to move in that direction, but yet we seem to be moving in a different direction. So I just felt like that's really the main point of what I wanted to say, is if we're moving to a mission-centric, maybe this is all happening because we're meant to do that.
Thank you, yep. Barbara. We go over here.
Hello. I'd just like to start out by saying I'm pro-Ogun.
And please, I'm not hearing anyone as anti-Ogun. Right. There's not a pro-anti thing. No matter what folks are saying. No, okay. I'm not doing that.
Anyway.
Okay.
So I grew up in church. My dad's a minister, and I've grown up watching every single minister and every single congregation I've ever seen, ever known, go through exactly what Ogun's going through right now. And I despised church for many years after growing up in it. And I started looking to come back to church as a means to heal the trauma of going to church. And I could never find a place where I felt like I could do that until I met Ogun. And it's because of his sense of humor, and it's because of the space he holds in reminding us that as serious as this is, at the end of the day, we're here to be community and to love and hold each other. And it's done without judgment. And I've had you take hours of your day to sit in your office with me on many occasions to talk to me about many subjects, and I've never felt like there wasn't anything I couldn't bring up in those talks. I will say the first time I met you, I had this sensation or this feeling after I left of him not being as excited to meet me as I wanted him to be, right? And like that was something that I had to like turn back onto myself and be like, why did you expect that amount of excitement? And like I really was able to like reflect, and then like I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go book another hour with this guy. And like we got to know each other, and like a relationship was built, and I think now he is as excited as I wanted him to be. But my point really, and I don't want this to sound judgmental, I mean I share a lot of the same things as you in terms of the way people perceive me, but I think in a time like this where this congregation, this community, whatever you want to call it, has reached this point of now we have like the minister whatever, right? And I love that you're using this as a time of self-reflection, but I also think this is a really important time for the community's self-reflection, because this can be a point where you just butt heads like every other church I've ever seen, explode and start over and do it again. Or like, you know, like do it together, let it take you inside, let that self-inquiry be why is he not as excited as I want him to be, or whatever it is, right? And like if you give and take and see the right and the wrong of everything like you were saying earlier, I think something really beautiful can come from this, right? So.
Thank you.
And I don't think anybody here is bashing you, Ogun.
Oh, no.
I don't think you think that, but
Mickey,
I don't want you.
Mickey.
But I'm being.
Even if they are, it's okay.
I know, but I don't think that's where he's coming from. Yeah, I'm an energy person.
Yes,
I felt her energy.
I did too. As we continue to pass the mic, I don't want us to stop this. And again, as Mickey said, we don't do this every Sunday. I know that's not what some of you came here for. And my girlfriend, who doesn't come here hardly ever, said to me yesterday as I was describing what we would do today, she said to me, and this is why I like hanging out with wise women. She says to me, so what are you going to do for the people who came here to be fed? And then I said, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one, because not everyone came here for this today. Then Tina reminded me of something that used to happen here a long time ago that we've hardly ever done since I've been minister. I think it stopped happening before he came on, which was there was a time in service where I think people, if I'm describing it correctly as it's been described to me, people got the opportunity to stand and share what this community meant to them. Okay? So as folks who had their hands up before continue to share, let us also begin to transition into that. So if before you didn't have anything to say about what we were talking about before, and you want to start sharing more about what this community means to you, why you love coming here ostensibly and those things, let's also start transitioning comments into that. That was the second thing I planned. I was going to do a big music break between, and as I'm looking at the time, I want to be mindful of the time, but I also want to make sure that people have the time to share. Okay, I did already beg the music team's forgiveness that we're going to go off script today, so we may have a little less music today, but let's make that transition. Who's got the mic? Oh, here we go.
Ogun, I honor you, I respect you, and I love you. And I want you to know when I met you the very first time that you came to try out as the new minister and came to your workshop, you touched me. You touched my heart, and you gave me hope and joy and I was looking so forward to having you come because you exhibited to me a high level of consciousness. Now, what I've felt in the last few years is that your approach has been more from the left hemisphere of the brain and not the right hemisphere of the brain. And what I'm hoping from this, because we are making a paradigm shift Our whole planet is shifting to a more heart-centered way of being, that I'm hoping that you show more of your heart and that high level of consciousness that you are, and step into that place and not be so much into the facts or the joking. Or people need heart now. They need to know that you care. They need to know that you're present in service and outside of service, even on Facebook. We all as leaders need to plant seeds of love. That's what our community needs. That's the healing that's taking place.
Thank you.
And that's what's going to raise the consciousness of this church, this community, and the plaza is love. I'm all about the vibration of love and the energy of love. It shifts here. This is our test.
Thank you.
But it shifts here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Ogun, and everyone. If I speak from my head, what I'm going to say is, you're doing a great job. Your teachings are right on. I like the way you relate everything to your own life experience, including humbling examples sometimes. If I speak from my heart, I'm still hurting from tragedies in my own life. And I also feel it's not just me. There's a lot of people in the community that need a lot of healing. When I come to you to talk about that kind of thing, I don't feel like we're on the same wavelength. I don't have the expectation that I would get that from every minister. And, you know, overall, I still think you're doing a great job. But the community needs something to restore wholeness and to bring some more healing.
Thank you, Peter. Let's go with Susan. She had her hand up for a while, and then we'll come back here. What time did you want to start the visioning, or it doesn't really matter? 12. You want to start the vision at 12? Okay. So if this works for everyone right now, just logistical insertion, I would love to wrap up this piece in about the next 10 minutes, and we'll do some singing, we'll do some offering, we'll do some other pieces so that we do have time to go grab a quick bite, because we're doing some potluck today, to come back in. Does that work for everyone? Okay. If you want to share and you didn't get the chance to share in the next 10 minutes, I still want to hear from you. So however we can set that up, however, you know, we have a meeting together, however that works, I still want to hear from you. Go ahead, Susan.
Some time ago, Ogun, I suggested that in talking about consciousness, many of us don't know what consciousness is. And I appreciated your response in addressing that in your talks. I'm sorry. I was talking about consciousness, and Ogun responding to my request or suggestion that he help us understand what consciousness means. And I feel that he's done that, and he continues to do that. I think it was reflected in Christina's comments. Now I think it's time to talk about what oneness means and what unity means. We throw those terms around. We're all one. And, you know, I, for one, kind of scratch my head and think, you know, I'm not all for one, all all of the time. I'm not in a state of oneness or unity. And not only helping to understand that on a deeper level, what does it mean when we're not in that space? And perhaps we're not in that space now. So that's my invitation to you today, to help us understand that better.
Thank you.
When you're holding the mic, please hold it like this. Some folks are having a hard time hearing. Can you hear me?
Thank you. I've moved around a lot in my adult life and probably been to 15 different churches. And the ones that work really feel a very strong personal connection with the minister, that he's just part of the community, accessible, there, consistent. I like funny, but there's another part too, and that is, you know, I really admire you, Ogun, for sitting here and listening and being open to hearing things that maybe other people have needs of that you're not providing. But it's not realistic to expect one person to be everything to everybody. We have to take on some of that responsibility ourselves. And the churches that work recognize the strengths of the minister and maybe some of the things he or she is not so good at, and they step in to provide the lack. They figure out a way that if needs aren't being met, that we as a community can come together and meet those needs. And it may not be the same, but you know, it's great if you can make an appointment and talk to the minister for an hour here and there, but he's not going to be able to do that for all of us. So, you know, as we look forward to our vision, let's see if we can find ways to help Ogun be what he's not, or to help him be stronger in the things that he is. And I think that would make us a much better community. Very nice. Denise?
I would like to see us look forward to more in service as a means of being a community, to making the ties to the community. I think that not having a sacred service coordinator and someone present that is working with volunteers who can give them encouragement, as well as, I think we expect our volunteers sometimes to take on too much leadership initially without really being in community with one another. And I would really like us to get back to being a stronger community through service. And I would love to, you know, I feel we did that a lot in the past. I feel, you know, that was our focus point, and then, but we were really poor with all of the technology and the Facebook and all of the media and so forth, and now we've gotten really good with that. I'd like to see a little more balance between that. So both aspects are important for reaching people so that we really are a center that people can come to, that we welcome all paths to. I think that would help us a great deal.
Thank you.
So I don't have the history here, as everyone has. I've only been coming here for a year. But I come here because of you. You nurture my soul every time I hear you speak. And because of you, I've met some wonderful people in this community. And I'm very grateful to be here. And I just want to say, I think you're very brave to stand up there and to be as vulnerable as you are. And lastly, coming from the Catholic Church, you know, the priest was like God. I couldn't distinguish the difference. But you're human. You're like the rest of us. Who has lots of wonderful things and who has faults, like every one of us in this room.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
This is my second week here. My name is Delisa. I can't come next week because I have a work engagement, so I won't be here, but not because of this, just because of prior, my responsibilities as a professional. But I have to say that in my life, I need some healing as well, much healing. And from last week, I came the Wednesday prior and Sunday, and I felt like this is the home that I needed to fill up that spirituality. So whatever it is that is happening, I hope that we move forward and that I felt welcomed, and I still do. Even today, some approached me and welcomed me back. I didn't get the carnation, but it's okay. So please come back. It's enough. So just, thank you, and I'm really happy to be part of this community.
Thank you. Somebody give her a carnation, please. Yes.
Hi, everybody. I've been a member of Unity up in Rollingsford. I've served on the board. We went through the same thing. I remember calling up Ogun, and I asked him about the tithing, and he laid it right out straight. No punches. I mean, he wasn't slipping any punch. He told us right away. I believe that Ogun is a unity person, deep down, and that's what we need. The board at a unity church is very important. We used to listen to congregants and get the chatter and come to the board and we talk about that. We used to meet in front of the congregation at least 4 times a year, and that became a good place for people to do this. And anyway, I'm nervous.
Okay, this will be the last one.
So right here and then right here. So these two.
Is that okay?
Yes, that is okay. And just on behalf of the board, we do have quarterly community meetings. Yes, we do.
I wasn't going to say anything because I'm always nervous, and now she's telling me to hold it closer. Really? I am so thankful to come here, and I'm a doctor, I'm a chiropractor, I'm busy, and I come here every Sunday because it centers me back to love. I go back to love my patients, and it has helped me so much in my life, and then to share that with everybody I touch. I'm blown away with what's going on here today because you're awesome in being genuine and real and teaching and a leader. And you're not going to be able to fulfill everyone's needs here, and I feel like that's what's going on is you're one person, and you can't answer all the emails and everyone's talk, and like me, I can't help some people. They can come to me and I can do my part, but then you have to go what we're learning here from Ogun and live it out there. Learn from this man, he's wonderful. And I'm so glad you're in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I thought you wanted to.
Oh, I did want to say something,
Okay,
but I wasn't sure when I wanted to interrupt. This community is something that I've never experienced anywhere else. I know I'm a little bit younger. Sorry, I'm super nervous. I'm a little bit younger than everybody else. But even with social media, there's just really nothing else like this that fills me. And it connects me to places and areas that I don't get even when I'm trying to look online and everywhere else. And this is where I meet people who are like-minded, who have that spiritual consciousness and awakening. Whew, sorry. So I thank you, Ogun, for everything that you've done, and I think people have made a lot of great points here today, and he is one person. And so, thank you.
Thank you. So, yes.
I was just going to say, do you want to do the prayer, St. Francis, and do the offertory, and then do the big song?
Time out. We're doing on the fly logistical planning here. No, just do the big sound. But not yet though. I'm gonna have Tina come come up and talk a little bit about what we're going to do transitioning into the visioning afterwards. And then we'll do our offering blessing, take up the offering while we sing the big song. We'll do a little prayer chaplain thing that needs to happen, and then we will wrap up service. The one thing I want to respond to what Mary said when she said I don't have enough time in the day to speak with everybody. I want to address that and say, yeah, I do. If you want to come speak with me, let me know, set up an appointment, we will find a time. There's no one that has not said, hey, Reverend Ogun, I want to sit and speak with you about something, that we don't find a time. It may not be that day, it may not be the next day, sometimes it's the next week. But for me, that's what I consider the most important part of my job. Sitting with you and speaking with you. And I will find the time. It doesn't have to be during the daytime. I meet with people during the evening because they work. The people who live closer to Boston who don't want to drive up during the week to meet with me, I've met with them down there now that I live closer. So I will find a time, I will find a place. I always have, I always will. So I do appreciate what you're sharing, but I just want people to know I am here for you. You want to talk about anything, as he said, anything. It doesn't have to be one meeting. We can meet 15 different times. I'm up for that. All right, Tina.
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
Just one.
Just one.
I'm not here for you.
I know you are.
I'm here for you. All right? I might not get what you're saying all the time, but I'm here for you guys. You guys are my teachers, everybody, every one of you, and you let me be up here. I mean, I'm not saying that you're terrible, but I think that you're learning. You're young.
Hang on.
We gotta open your heart. It's up to you guys to open this guy's heart.
She's not wrong. One of the things that Mickey and I were talking before service today, and she made this great point. She's like, we got to remember that this is my first position as a senior minister, and I was ordained in 2011. I don't have 20 years of veteran minister leadership behind me. We are all learning together.
But he needs a lot more teachers than other ministers, possibly.
And trust me, I have learned a whole lot from you all. Today is a learning day for me. And I'm going to bring Tina up, and if there's anyone who's really in this time and place, help keeping me straight, it's this woman right here who just always responds from a place of groundedness. I'm so grateful for you. Now come take the mic and do your thing.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Mickey.
I stand in the presence and for all of you that lip read, I hope my lips are loud enough today. I've been at Unity on the River since it moved into this building, and finding Unity 20 years ago changed my life. This community is very important to me, but I'm nobody without you. I'm just an amazing woman, a child of God, standing in a strip mall in Amesbury without you. You know, that's what community is. That's what this church is. So we have to remember that church is us. I am you. And so as we go forward today, what's going to happen is we'll go out, have some lunch, and then we're going to have a process at the door that you'll be able to let go of ego, any judgment or negativity, and then the doors will close. You'll come in. You're going to pick a 12 power that you're going to represent during our ceremony. We'll do some prayer with Tom. I will do a meditation, and then we'll start going through, as we stay in meditation, we'll go through questions. You'll have paper and pen, and you'll be able to write down how Spirit answers those questions through you. Then we will have I don't know if you guys saw Reverend Paulette Pike's prayer last week. We posted it on Facebook. She was amazing. So we're going to end with that because that just feels like a grand finale, like the fireworks show, bang, bang. So that's how I felt when she did it. So we're going to end with that, and you'll leave your papers at the door. We'll process everything, and we'll come back in 2 weeks, and we'll let you know what came out of this, and then we will create our vision statement together.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Thank you. And if there's some of you who might be wondering, why isn't our minister leading this process? Because I am not the only spiritual leader in this community. I am not. We got other ordained ministers here. We have people like Tina here. And I think the relevance of her leading this process, I'm still going to be here. I'm going to be in here with you. But the relevance of her leading this process is really a demonstration to what she said. This church is not me. It's not any single one of us. It is together. And I think that more of you should be up here more often in addition to me. Because you're great spiritual leaders. Everyone on this board is a great spiritual leader. There's so many of you who are spiritual leaders sitting in these seats. And my passion is about developing spiritual leaders. Spiritual leaders who grow up in this community, who wake up in this community, and go change the world, and go transform the world. Okay? So, that being said, let us take a moment to prepare our love offerings and our tithes. Take a deep breath. Let's clear our hearts a little bit. And we're going to affirm together our blessing. And what we'll do is have Brian and the band. Sorry, guys, I know y'all prepared a lot of music today. Maybe next week we'll just have y'all sing the whole time. Okay?
This is easy for them.
To make it fun. Yeah, they had an easy day today. Mickey's like, they had an easy day. So hold in your hearts, in your hands, your offerings, and in your hearts, that true element of abundance that you are. That true element of God, that all that is, there is no lack in the universe. Ultimately, there is no lack in you. Remember that as you affirm together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Yeah, you guys now. Big sound. Let's get some uplifting music.
All right. Well, before I do, I have something to say, though. You hear my guitar out there? Out through the PA? All right. I just want to say I've also been here since I've been here since the Masonic Temple building. So before we ever bought this property, and you know, when the ministerial change took place, I remember your first guest appearance before we went for the search, and I thought, there's someone who really speaks at our level. You know, we expect sometimes that there's this expectation that we've all raised our consciousness and that we want someone to come and speak at that level. A lot of times we get guests here, guest speakers, and they have no idea that they think we just suddenly walked in from our other church that we had belonged to previously, and we're like, oh, this is amazing. And I really appreciate that you are always keeping us up here. And you say, we'll push things that aren't comfortable, and we do. And I always appreciate that about you. And I still remember the Ho'oponopono. I say it all the time. It's the Hawaiian Prayer. So it's forgive me. No, I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me and thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me and thank you. And I remember the order is different than a lot of people say it and you explain the whole thing. And I still keep that prayer on my desk at home. Anyways.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Please be seated for a moment as we give thanks for these gifts. You can keep hugging. That's all right. The hug-a-thon continue. So everybody take a deep breath and go to your hearts, to that place of gratitude. And we give thanks for these gifts that are your reflection of the abundant flow of the universe. So no matter how you choose to invest in your spiritual community, whether you give here today, whether you give online, whether you have a direct deposit straight from your bank account, no matter how you choose to share the abundance that you are, we are grateful and we give thanks. And so it is. Amen and amen. So wasn't much time for announcements. I do want to point out one thing. There is a workshop next week called The Soul of Work after church on Sunday with Holly. Where's Holly? Holly. There's Holly. So if you want to find out more about what she's going to be doing next week, The Soul of Work, Conscious Career Makeover, go talk to Holly. I want to acknowledge our prayer chaplains who are in service today. If you are able, please stand so folks can acknowledge you. As always, well, we're going to do the visioning right after, but if you do still need to connect with prayer with these prayer chaplains, we have that window before we begin at 12. Please see these individuals. They will hold the truth in consciousness with you, whether it's prayers of concern, prayers of celebration. These folks are here for you. Thank you very much. We also have a group who go and visit folks in hospital and in rehab. If any of those folks are here today, Nancy's here. She can do that. By the way, Reverend Annie, you know Reverend Annie, and Barry Siegel, who often sings in the choir, they happen to be both in Anna Jake's today. Easy, okay. Barry is had just had a successful surgery to his hip. He's recovering, and Reverend Annie was just going in for some not routine, but nothing major. She texted me this morning. I'm going to actually, when we're all said and done here, go visit with them afterwards this afternoon. So please hold them in your prayers for healing and wholeness. And I want to invite Sharon up really briefly to share with you a special invitation.
Namaste. So in April, we have our prayer chaplain training. And this will be my 4th year coming up as a prayer chaplain. And when I first came to Unity, somebody said to me, you should sing in the choir. And I was like, oh, God, no. I should become a prayer chaplain. And that thought stuck with me. And I thought, I don't know how to pray. What do I ask for? What do I receive? What do I get in return? And I thought, well, I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And seeing the 4 prayer chaplains every Sunday, it's like, God, that's what you're here to do. So if any of you have ever sat and thought, I don't know how to pray, don't know what to do, don't know what to ask for, I'm going to say the wrong thing, I will tell you, if you have had any thought of maybe this is what you should do, don't question it, just do it. It is the most amazing thing, except for being on the board, that I have ever done. There is no wrong way to pray. And let me tell you, what I have gotten out of this, going into my 4th year, is amazing. And you don't just pray in the 4 corners. You pray every day without even knowing that you're praying. It is just the greatest gift that God could give you. So really think about joining the prayer chaplains. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. If you want to find out more information about becoming a prayer chaplain, speak to any of our prayer chaplains, or speak to Tom, or speak to Rena, who are the prayer chaplain team co-leaders, to get more information. Our children will not be coming in today. Wanted to make sure we had more time. So if you are the parent of a child, please go pick them up over in the children's area when we're done. And please, go pick them up. Let us stand, take the hand of our neighbor. We can do the peace sound. Take the hand of your neighbor, affirm the truth. And remember, we want to clear the sanctuary out. We want to clear the sanctuary out of everyone before we start the visioning process. So when we finish the peace sound, just head on out into hospitality and let's clear the space so we can start cleanly and freshly. So, let there be peace on earth. affirm the truth. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed. So it is. Thank you.